Well, Drew, the UK tour, you've been announced a part of it. First of all, how exciting is that for you?
It was very exciting for me. I debuted last year in the UK tour, and it was absolutely awesome. So one of the highlights of my career, especially the first show in Manchester when I came through the crowd and, you know, introduced the world to Drew Galloway, who I am as a person, and, you know, as a wrestler in the ring. Just me, no character, no frills, just me 100%. And the crowd were amazing. The crowd, like this, the UK scene has the best fans in the world. I'm not just saying that 'cause I'm from here. Everybody else feels the same. And the tour is going to be absolutely phenomenal.
I was going to say, when you look at yourself, when you go to the UK and compared to your time in America, just what makes the British fans so special?
So they're by far the best fans in the world. Like I said a second ago, this is not just me being biased. Everyone in America, Japan, Mexico, whatever country they happen to be from, are always asking me, what is it with the UK fans? Like, you know, why they're that way? And I try to explain it to them like football fans. Football mentality. I said, you know, if you go to a sports game in America, like American football or baseball or whatever, somebody stands up and screams one thing and they sit back in their chair and people will look at them in disgust. In football matches over here, if you're not on your feet screaming at somebody, then people will look at you in disgust. So we're mental, we get loud, we get rowdy, we sing songs, we drink beer, we get wild. And it's, you know, that's exactly what we do at wrestling shows as well. The same way we're at football matches. The songs are awesome, everyone's having a good time. And it's happening all across the UK, and the independent scene as well. The UK scene is on fire and is at the forefront of world wrestling right now. It's an exciting time.
And Drew, out of the venues you're going to be attending, just which one are you looking forward to most?
I'm looking forward to all. Look, I know all three are going to be absolutely rocking. We got Manchester first. That's, as I say, last year. That was my favourite one last year. Just even like I've debuted in Glasgow, Scotland, which was so enjoyable as well, and I really enjoyed the London show, but just that was what I got to introduce myself to the world, and the crowd were so loud and responsive. I'm looking forward to seeing that Manchester crowd again. I've not done Birmingham before. I'm looking forward to that massively, and, you know, bringing the TNA too there for, I don't know, it's not the first time, but the first time for me anyway, and then London again. And that's always like loud and busy, but yeah, that Manchester show is going to be pretty crazy.
And I know as part of this, fans have got the chance to win the chance to basically have a meal with you. Just what's that going to be like for yourself?
I don't know. It depends who wins the ticket, I guess. Enjoyable, I hope. As long as I don't wake up in a basement with somebody wearing my skin and singing "Happy Birthday," I'll be happy.
And you've also got a Q&A as well later on today. Just how much do you enjoy meeting the fans?
I love it, especially the knowledgeable, passionate ones, which is generally fans of TNA. They're, you know, not just people that watch every so often, or, you know, those kids obviously that watch it, but the adults are very knowledgeable. They know what's going on. They know exactly what I do within TNA and what I do with other companies I work for across the world. They know what I'm all about, and they know my history, and can tell me more about my career than I actually know. And I love talking wrestling with them, because in the end, that's what I've always wanted to do. What I love is my entire life, and if anyone wants to talk about wrestling, I'll happily talk about it. It's the one thing I can comfortably talk about all day long. As you can see right now, I can never shut up about it. But yeah, I love just talking to fans, because at heart, I'm the biggest fan in the world.
And looking at your time in TNA, I know that you were part of the Rising. That obviously is no more. Just how much did you enjoy being a part of that team, though, while it lasted?
Yeah, it was a fun time. It was some good battles with the BDC. I think just for the guys, they were kind of trying to say the things that I was saying, but for me, it wasn't a character. I don't know how it came across all the time. Like, for me, I genuinely mean it, because it's just Drew Galloway being Drew Galloway. So whenever they were, you know, trying to, you know, put across what I was putting across, it just didn't feel the same, because that's saying the stuff that I was supposed to say. But in ring-wise, like, I really enjoyed it, and you could see Drake, you know, had something in him, like, heel-wise. I could see how long the bad guy was. Like, I knew eventually when the time comes for him to be bad, it's going to be something, and then obviously turned on me and was started the program, and everyone's seen that he's a very convincing bad guy, a very convincing bad guy. Because of that time with the Rising and us together and all the battles we had, the tour was so much more effective. The matches meant so much more because we had that history together.
And obviously you're now a singles competitor, and the TNA World Heavyweight title, that has to be the aim, doesn't it?
If you're not going for the world title, you're wasting your time as far as I'm concerned. So I think getting wrestling just to make up the numbers again, to eat them up. But I'm there to be number one, and the title is the only thing I've got in mind. There's so many guys I want to wrestle. TNA is full of great wrestlers, the best in the world. But I'm very much looking forward to getting my hands on that title and just trying to elevate it more than it already is. It's already such a prestigious title. Anytime I get my hands on a title, like ICW in Scotland, Evolve in America, Australia, Denmark, I've got like 7 or something right now. I can't think of them all off the top of my head. But anytime I get a title, I try to, evolve it past where it's at. That's my goal as a champion. See, it's my responsibility as a champion. I want to represent the company and take them to the next level. And that's my plan for TNA.
You mentioned that you had so many names you wanted to face. Could you just name a few right now?
Absolutely. Angle, top of the list. Somebody I watched, I'm inspired by when I was younger, and to this day, the fact that the guy's been through so much, like physically, but can still go better than every single person in the ring. I can't wait to face him and Bram and I. He's from England, I'm from Scotland. We're going to have a little battle in America. It's going to be an absolute war. We wrestle similar styles, both big, aggressive guys. I'm looking forward to that. And with EC3, he's the current champion. I'm looking forward to the program there. He's so good at what he does. Such a good bad guy, and such a perfect opponent for myself on the microphone and in the ring. There's another one looking forward to. There's so many. The entire roster, pretty much. There's so many talented guys and girls.
And over the last couple of months, you obviously main evented Slammiversary. Just how was that, and being a part of the King of the Mountain match?
Oh, it was awesome. It was my first ever pay-per-view main event, so that was exciting for a start. And I had a few moments in the match where I was highlighted and given the opportunity to stand out. And I don't think anyone expected the 6'5", 250-pound guy to flip off the top of the thing. As well, it was a big moment. My Twitter blew up when I flipped off that Shark Tank. I don't think anyone saw that one coming. And it was just, really cool to be part of it. I had to double check the rules a few times, but it was cool to be part of it, and the opportunity to main event a pay-per-view for the first time in my life.
And just how was it being in that match? Because it is such a different match compared to your conventional ladder match, isn't it?
Oh yeah, you just got to remember to grab the belt. I think one time I went to climb the ladder and I went, wait a minute, I'm forgetting something here. Yeah, give me that belt. So I was supposed to put it up there and not climb up and get it. I think it was one time I started climbing, I looked up and saw no belt and remembered, oh yeah, you need to hang the belt, you don't need to grab the belt. And I think it's cool and different. I know like fans are, oh, why would you do that? Whatever, but the thing about it is it's different. I love the shark cage, like the big cage everyone goes in. I love that rule and aspect of it, and it's just different. It just takes a couple of seconds to learn the rules. Just read them and you'll get it. I was the same. I was like, what's going on here? Should I tweet? Should I ask the rules? I read them for a couple of times. I was okay, I get it. I'm not going to focus on it and start like tweeting away about how much I hate it. I'm just going to relax, enjoy the match, and be a fan rather than try to point out flaws in something, and just sit back, relax, and everyone's busting their ass and being as entertaining as we can in that situation.
And obviously, you're someone who wrestles for so many different organisations. One of them is Insane Championship Wrestling, and it really is an organisation that is going from strength to strength.
It's an absolute fire. It was on fire before I got back. It's just been on fire since I got back. I was part of the second documentary, the Insane Fight Club. The original one really set things into gear. Took it to that next level, got eyes on it. They weren't necessarily wrestling fans, like places like Insane Chapter Wrestling and the Preston City Wrestling have their own fans that aren't necessarily wrestling fans. They're just ICW fans, PCW fans. I've spoken to people, fans after the show, that say, I'm not a wrestling fan, I just really enjoy coming here, I enjoy ICW, which is incredible. That's when, wrestling back in the day, when there was a boom period with Stone Cold was on fire, you would get people watching it that weren't necessarily wrestling fans, that were Stone Cold fans. That's the kind of thing you're looking for once you start bringing in eyes that thought they weren't wrestling fans, but they start watching the show and start getting into something, get invested in somebody or something on the show in particular. That's when, exciting things start happening. It's happening right now because the scene is on fire here.
And looking at the difference between the conventional wrestling and ICW, obviously the fans are just so loud. The fans just make the show, don't they?
Oh yeah, well, they're part of the roster 100%. They're loud and rowdy and crazy, and they are at every show in the UK, but ICW in particular, they are absolutely off their heads, and I love it. ICW, there's always something that happens on every single show, so I always remember if I hear somewhere, oh, that happened here. Yeah, that one on tail was crazy. Jess and I were like really good friends, one of my best friends in real life, battling each other for real, and it was just such an emotional build-up, such an emotional match, and the fact we sold out the Barrowlands ballroom, which is such a historic place. The Rolling Stones played there. Everyone's played there, from the biggest pop artists to the biggest rock artists. And this place I used to go as a kid to watch, and people like do concerts. And since I was really young, and to actually sell it out and be in the main event of the sold-out place, sold out months in advance, it's just absolutely incredible.
And your next battle is against another Impact Wrestling star, Grado. What's that going to be like?
That's going to be something. Let me put it that way. So if we're going to attempt to do a 5,000-seater place at the SECC, more than double the Barrowlands, the match that had to happen was me versus Grado, and he is the everyman that everybody loves Grado, and I'm a very big fan. He's very entertaining. But yeah, in this situation, I'm afraid the clown's going to get eaten up by this line. But it is going to be very entertaining, and hopefully people are going to enjoy the match, because it's going to be some absolute war.
And for yourself, when you look at that fight, it really is two contrasting styles going against each other.
Oh yeah, that's night and day. But I've wrestled him before. I think it was in Birmingham, and he really brought it. Like, he has it in him. Like, he does the comedy obviously fantastically, but he does have it in him. He just needs the right person to bring it out of him, and guarantee you I'm the right person to bring out every part of aggression he has, and it's going to be a very physical match, and you're going to see a different side of Grado you've never seen before when he wrestles me.
Now, you've mentioned, obviously, you're back in the UK, and you mentioned the football fans element. I know that you're a fan of Rangers. Have you had a chance to see them yet this season?
Not this season, no. I was hoping to see them on Wednesday against Ayr. But I had a prior commitment, so I couldn't make the game, and every other time it's at the weekend. I'm always wrestling at weekends. So, thankful the past couple of years I've not had to go to the games, so I just sit at home, my head in my hands, crying. But hopefully next season things will be back to where they need to be. I'm a fan of Scottish football, I want to point out as well, not just Rangers. I'm a Rangers fan, but I'm a fan of Scottish football, and Scottish football needs Rangers versus Celtic. So the Batman needs the Joker. And that's our one angle we have in Scottish football that keeps it relevant. We need to get it back there so people stay interested in Scottish football and we don't become Irish football. Because obviously no one can compete with the Premiership. I'm not trying to. It's the best league in the world, but Scottish football needs Rangers and Celtic together.
I was going to say, that's the battle, isn't it, where people from around the world, they wait to see that. And obviously, over the last few years, it just hasn't happened in the league.
No, and that's what I was trying to say when it happened. And I don't really say much of my feelings in football on the internet or Twitter or anything. But that's the one time I spoke up and said, okay, some idiots have screwed it for us, the fans and the club. The board are absolute morons and have been for years. But let's think of the bigger picture. Let's think of the Scottish football. Don't throw them down, punish them, fine them, do whatever. Just don't put them down, because you're going to affect Scottish football. That's the one hook we have to keep people interested around the world, and you take it away. I guess it's a nice underdog story is when they finally get back. So we're far way back from literally being liquidated and fighting our way back. So it's some underdog story. The fans will stick there like 100% of the way, and then hopefully once we get back together, Rangers, Celtic, Scottish football will benefit from it.
And obviously for Scottish football as well, the fact that Euro 2016 qualification's nearly there, it must be great to see for a Scot like yourself.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. That's the thing. Like, when Celtic are doing well in Europe and stuff, couldn't be happier. And I follow the games and watch them any way I can. Like, if I have to go online and find a feed or something, I'll watch, and I'm ecstatic when they're doing well. I don't understand some of these. Like, it's not so bad these days. When I was younger, I remember it being a lot worse with Rangers and Celtic fans. The stuff they spew out their mouths, and like, shut up, just be a football fan, cheer and boo, but there's no need for any of the other nonsense. And when each other does well in Europe, it's Scottish football in the end. Think of the bigger picture.
And looking at yourself, I know football's a passion. What are your other passions outside of wrestling?
Time for passions. I enjoy working out, and I enjoy. I don't have time to play the computer, but I do enjoy playing the computer when I get the chance. Enjoy sampling the bars of the world. Enjoy staring at Coronation Street, since it's, every time I turn around, it's right across the street from where I'm talking from right now, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, I really don't have time for anything else. I'm so consumed by wrestling. It's not like an obsession, like, I don't know, some crazy Wall Street banker. It's something that is literally fun for me. So it's like I'm doing my hobby 100% of the time.
Because when you look at wrestling, then Is it a case that basically from day one, really, you just always felt that wrestling was the thing you wanted to go into?
That's what I was ever going to do. I don't remember when I first thought of it. I just always knew I was going to do it. Maybe at one point I was playing for Rangers and being a wrestler. But as far back as I can remember, I can't possibly pinpoint it. And as far back as 9, I was sending away for information on how to be a wrestler. And like, try to convince my parents to let me go train in England. And it took me till I was 15 to let me go with the 12 hours to train. But I was so determined and did everything I could and started working out because all the guys on TV were in shape. So I did everything I could to prepare myself for it, and then before I finally started training.
And, you know, you've got that passion. For someone else maybe who's, I don't know, maybe 15, 16 years old thinking they could get into wrestling, what would your advice be to them?
Just like a doctor or whatever, you got to go to medical school, you got to go to wrestling school. And how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Just practice, 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 and you can do anything you want. You don't have to be 15, 16. I know guys that are in their mid-30s. Simon Dallas Page was like 38 when he started wrestling. He became a multiple-time world champion. There's no age restriction on it. It's just what you put into it is what you get at, with same with everything in life. And
Drew, then, I'll ask this now. Just obviously, you know so many wrestlers. Just who would you say the next breakout star is in wrestling?
UK. God, he's going to owe me so many drinks. I've said this in a couple of interviews. Big Damo. He's an Irish guy from Northern Ireland. He's about 6'3", and like looks like a bear, 23 stone, super hairy, big, gigantic Daniel Bryan-sized beard and long hair as well. Legit looks like a bear, but is awesome in the ring. Moves around like a cruiserweight, and he's a good guy on top of it all. He owes me so many drinks for putting him over so much in all these interviews.
I'm going to say you owe him a few now, don't you, mate? But and just finally, Drew, then, if I was to say to you in 6 months' time, where do you want to be? Would it be a case that you'd have that Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight title around your arm?
In 6 months?
Yeah.
I think no. In 1 month, in 2 months, I want to have that Impact title around my arm. That's the goal. I would have it next week if I had the opportunity. So whenever the show's going on, I'm going to work my ass off to make sure I get